Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons. I am so okay, fair enough. I'm terrible at having a co-host because I'm not used to working nicely with others. But yeah, scorecards, get them in the description. They're clearly the most important part of this video.
These are black and white because...
Our printer sucks.
Yeah, the ink was crusty.
It was very crusty. Anyway, who are you and how are you in my house?
I invaded your house 3 days ago. I've been here... How many days have I been here?
Too many.
Yeah, and I've now been sleeping in your living room and I've made it my home.
You've also made the cats your home.
I have, yeah. His cats actually like me more than him, and it's quite fascinating.
It's tragic, it's evil. And of course, the elephant in the room, semi-final one, has, well, you all know what's happened, we know what's happened. Put that to one side, it's the turn of semi-final 2, which is today, and I'm not ready! I will never be ready. There will not come a day where I'm ready.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's all coming all at once now.
It's opening up too quickly. Put them back together. Why am I imagining the up that's opening as being legs? Probably because Moldova's in the semi-final. I'm getting ahead of myself! Oh, so begin at the beginning just like always?
Of course. So, San Marino.
Soon Moo! We love to see it. Flow Rider. As opposed to his northern counterpart, Ala Star.
Oh, God's sake. Yes,
California.
This is probably going to be San Marino's best placing ever.
To date.
To date.
I get where you're coming from, though, because, like, is this likely to ever happen again? Well, we can hope. We're hoping, like... I never thought I'd see the day where I can say, hey, BBC, you could learn from San Marino. But, yeah, that.
Personally, I don't see this doing as well as some people think it will.
I think in terms of hype, the peak has been and gone, which is sad.
Yeah, I don't see as many people talking about it these days. But it will still do well.
Yeah, I certainly like what I've seen in the staging so far. Like, it's the right amount of over the top where it's, like, not above and beyond, like, it's not Luca Tomasini to the moon. It has enough of its own flavour, but it's still accessible, so it doesn't look generic. It still stands out, but it's, like, it's generic enough to be inclusive, whilst being non-generic enough to be individual. It's good, basically.
Yeah.
Vote Soon Moo for clear skin.
The only problem I have is the headdress at the start of the performance is abysmal.
It is a bit of a time. It's like if you hooked up some instant noodles to a car battery.
I don't know where you're going with this, but
that's it. I reached the end of my train of thought. All off board.
Are you hungry by chance? Do you want some noodles?
Always. But we have more songs to discuss.
Estonia.
Ooh woo su viste. I'm sorry, I'm a furry, the joke had to be made. But yeah, August Viste, the lucky one.
This is much better than his song last year.
Yes.
And it's a shame that he is fading into the back of the pack.
Yeah, because, like, the thing that tends to come up when I'm talking about this song is, like, when it comes to determining the running order every year, there's always some countries that are given really favourable slots that don't need them, and this is the opposite of that. This is a song where if you gave it a favourable slot, it would stand out, but if you give it a non-favourable slot, people are going to forget that it's there.
And it being on second means it is going to be forgotten by everybody.
Which is a shame, because this song is better than people give it credit for. I mean, even I underrated it, I will admit that. Though I do think, usually, I'm not a fan of them keeping staging between National Final and Eurovision. It usually bespeaks a level of arrogance of like, oh, we're already perfect, we don't need to adapt to anything. But I do miss the chains, which is a weird thing for me to say, but what about the chains on him? He's a pudding boy, chains on him.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, it does. The stage does seem a little bare from the rehearsal footage.
He's kept the outfit at least, which I think was definitely a good look.
I do like the red and blue lightning background. That's nice, and the graphics on the floor that he's got do look quite interesting. But again, is it enough to stand out?
I hope so. If he surprises us, I would absolutely be.
I want this in the final. This is one of my favourite songs in the semi-final, but unfortunately, my favourites don't always get through. So it is what it is.
That's one thing our opinions have in common.
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Pretty much. And then Betty from the Czech Republic.
And you just spat all over my knee.
You're welcome. It was worth it. This saliva sponsored by the Czech Republic. So, oh my god. Not really anything to say as far as I'm concerned. Like, the staging is just the music video minus the narrative elements, but in real life.
Yeah, Benny is a very charismatic performer. What are you doing?
I'm having a time, as is Benny with the song. Like, he is, he's happy. He's a lovely guy. Everything comes across. Like, he brings the song to life. The song brings him to life. Evanescence, Wake Me Up Inside. Save me! So I think he certainly will give a compelling performance. It's just a matter of, again, is it going to be remembered? I would hope so, because the Czech Republic's kind of been riding high over recent years, and they could do a lot worse than this.
I think this is sufficiently different enough to everything else in this semi-final to stand out.
Yeah.
And I will not be surprised if this qualifies.
But at the same time, if it doesn't, I won't be surprised, simply because it's one of those entries, and there are loads of them this year, where if they took part in a weaker year, then they would stand out so much harder for their level of quality. Like, about 30 of this year's songs could be the favourite to win if they'd just been up against different songs. Which sounds like a no-dirt statement, but I feel like that really applies to the Czech Republic here.
Yeah, absolutely. He should do well. He might do well. But if he doesn't qualify... Oh, it's going to be a big shame, but it wouldn't be that surprising.
It's a Spanish pair of socks. You know, because SOCKS, it means it is what it is.
I don't speak Spanish.
Well, that sounds like a you problem. Grace! I made myself jump. Stefania, Last Dance, and it may well be.
The staging is awful.
Points for trying, at least, but certainly with me, my feeling about staging and stuff is, if it's not being produced live in the moment, then it granted, I think they're using a second stage for it, so it is live.
No, it's live on the stage. The green screen is the LED wall.
Yeah. That was my understanding of it.
But that's the thing. All the people in the venue will see is green.
Yeah, basically, I take issue with if they use special effects that completely leave the live audience out in the cold. And yes, as a media graduate, I do obviously think very heavily about the actual production aspect, the cameras and whatever, but it is still a live event, and so if they're just going to be sitting there straining their eyes for 3 minutes on this neon green and for very little payoff, you could just as easily have done this you could just had guys in black jumpsuits but with the white parts of the costume doing that. I've seen Michael Jackson impersonators do that. You've really made a mountain out of a molehill for what is really not all that worth it.
Yeah, and they were teasing something that's never been seen before, never happened at Eurovision before. And you hyped it up for ages and we got that.
You could have said the same thing about their song in 2009 because of the stapler. I've never seen a stapler at Eurovision before.
Well, Greece is known for their rather intricate staging.
Yeah, 2014, the trampoline. I mean,
oh yeah, we've never seen the trampoline.
As Brits, we can't really criticise because the UK is also fond of extravagant staging, but I mean...
Well, yeah, we've got two massive polystyrene trumpets, but...
Not to toot our own horns or anything.
That was a terrible joke.
I shall go and see myself out. Austria, meanwhile, is a country that exists on the face of the planet Earth.
And it's a country that will exist in the grand final on Saturday.
I'm inclined to agree, because, I know that going into the contest, this is one of those ones that people thought they were going to forget about, but having seen, the rehearsals and everything, he's bringing it.
This stands out like a sore thumb in a really good way. It's the only real ballad in the first half. So he's surrounded on all sides by upbeat songs. So I can see this standing out a mile with the jury.
Mm.
And Vincent himself, he's got no backing vocalists.
Yeah, it's just him.
It's ridiculous how good his vocals are.
Yeah, it's just watching the first rehearsal, seeing the backstage footage of going through the in-ear checks and everything, and it's just him. Wow. Like, I think there's going to be like a bit of backing on the backing track, but
yeah, I think during like the final like pre-chorus and all that kind of thing, there's.
But obviously, it can't be too prominent, so it is. Yeah. It's literally just him, and like he's got charisma, he's got emotion. Yeah. It feels very authentic to him. Like this wasn't just like a mystery meat song. Like clearly, it has significant meaning to him. It is, I believe, based on an actual personal story of his, but I don't know the specifics.
I think his daughter passed away just after birth, and I think he wrote the song around that sort of time.
Wow, that is rough. My condolences, sincerely. But it has made for a very authentic song and a very authentic delivery.
Yeah, like the staging, there's not really much to it, but the lighting, it's done in such a nice way, and it's simple but classy. Yeah. It fits.
It doesn't need to be over the top, and I think that it really shines.
Yeah. I think this is going to do a lot better than most people thought it would before 2 weeks ago.
I think it'll connect to the public more than the public are expecting. I think the juries will do their job and look at this and go, wow, this is a tasty burger.
Like we're having tonight.
Yeah.
Oh God, Poland.
I mean, that says it all.
I like the song.
Yeah.
But the dude can't sing.
I mean, that's a harsh way of putting it, but this is like... I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible because, like, as a guy, Raphael is at least, like, the enthusiasm is there.
Oh, yeah, he himself is a very charismatic guy. He obviously wants to do well.
Yeah.
But the fact is he just doesn't have the voice to pull off the song.
It's very much a victim of the broadcaster panic buying a song and then just slapping it on the first artist they could get to say yes. And it shows, and I think he is trying, bless him, but what he has to work with is incredibly limited.
Yeah, like I wanted this to qualify before the rehearsals, but I don't think this performance overall deserves to.
The thing that messes with my head is, this is the sort of thing where, like, child Tess would hear it and go, why is everyone being so mean? It's so good to die. I don't know why child Tess had a Italian, half Austrian, half Italian accent, but I like as a child, I'd listen to this. Well, I would hypothetically listen to this.
I just broke a peg by mistake. I'm so sorry.
You're too powerful. It's the sort of song where I'd listen to it as, like, if I were a child, I'd listen to it and think, wow, why is everyone being so harsh? This kind of bangs. And, like, I'd watch the staging and sort of think, well, it's a fun time. They got the hand lights, but it's another one, I think, that drowns in its own performance because they're trying so hard to bring something lifeless to life. And that's not their fault. That's kind of the fault of buying a song that was written just after the Melody Festival deadline for Melody Festival. And it shows, okay? I called it even before they said it officially.
I will say, though, that the male version of this song is better than the female version that they released. That would have been the Melody Festival, and
yeah. So, it could be worse, but, like...
It's fine.
The blame is completely with the Polish broadcaster.
It's just not good, really, is it?
It's just there to fill time.
Speaking of filling time, Moldova.
Okay.
This is crap.
It's definitely underwhelming from what I've seen. This, I think, similar to Malta in the first semi-final, but obviously a different kettle of fish. Because, like, there was so much potential with how they could put this song across. And instead they just went with, fantasy man, neon background, and,
it's just so bland.
It's so underwhelming. Like, did they blow their entire budget on just promoting the song? Because
Kirkorov probably blew the budget on himself.
It's such a shame because, like, Moldova usually brings really good staging, and, like, for a song as aesthetically forward as this, I would have expected something more aesthetically strong. I would expect Candyland visuals, backing dancers at least.
It's a song about sugar. Where's the ice cream?
Yeah, at the very least, like, backing dancers in, like, red and white candy cane gimp suits or something. Bloody hell.
Like, the dancers they're wearing black, aren't they?
I think so. And, like,
it's just
don't try telling me it's meant to be licorice.
It's so boring.
Which is a shame, because there's potential here. See, there was an idea that I had for the staging, and clearly it's their fault for not listening to me, even though I never published it anywhere. But, like, I think this is a bit extreme for primetime entertainment, but, like, some sort of, during the like sort of the last bridge of the song, she can go behind this screen and it looks like shadow play. So like you can see the silhouette of her walking behind this screen. There's the other guy. She goes like hand right through his chest, pulls back out of it, and then she walks out from behind the screen holding like a heart made out of cake. But like all of the gory stuff is done like in shadow play, so you can't act. So obviously it's just an LED screen. So in reality, she's just walking behind an LED screen and picking up a piece of cake. But you know, even that, it's something.
Yeah, like all she's got is a turntable, and Isaiah did the turntable better, and she just dances on it for 3 minutes.
You could dub it over with Barbie Girl by Aqua and nothing would be lost, and that's like, what a waste of potential.
Yeah,
and I say this having put this song in my top 10.
I definitely did not put this song in my top 10.
You probably have better taste than me.
But yeah, it's just not good. I will be disappointed if this qualifies, because I think there are other songs, even if I don't like them here, that deserve to make it more than Moldova does.
They've at least put more effort in.
Yeah.
And that deserves to be recognised.
Like, Moldova has a good track record. Like, even with their last entry, they nearly qualified in 12th. So Iceland. It good.
Basically. I look at their, like, equipment. That sounded lewd. I look at what they've got on stage, and I think, Ovi's circular piano from 2014 died for this. Except this is actually a better use of the... I'm joking because the guitars look like they're made of the circular piano, but this is actually a better song than Miracle. But
yes.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. No, I do think, like, I don't remember the intricacies of this performance. I think the first rehearsal had me a little bit underwhelmed because it's just the six of them, and I know they sort of like hold their pose for the first 15 seconds. Aren't they going to do that at the end as well?
Yeah.
So they're on stage for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think they do it at the end, and then right at the end there's a big pyro blast.
Oh, see, if it was just the song ends and they stand there for 15 seconds, like, that's not good television, Daddy. You could have just made the song 15 seconds longer. But I mean, if they're doing something fun with it, then okay, fair play.
Yeah, I think this is going to do well. It's like, it is up there with the contenders to win. I understand why. I personally don't want it to win.
I think it's less of a contender to think about things was just on the basis of marketability and post-contest longevity, but clearly people do have a taste for this style, so
yeah,
you know,
if it does well, fair enough.
Yeah, it's artists playing to their artistic strengths, and that shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Serbia.
Wow, I was looking at the score sheet and I just managed to completely ignore Serbia for some reason, which I don't think will happen tonight.
I wish I could.
See, initially, I was concerned about this one's qualifying chances just because the whole syndrome of there being so many up-tempo female-led bangers. But
I was as well. I thought it would be Serbia or Moldova would get through, one of the two, and I was leaning towards Moldova before rehearsals.
As we are.
But now I'm thinking Serbia because Serbia's performance is so much better.
Yeah,
Their vocals are so much stronger. Well, Sanya's is stronger. The other two can't really sing that well. But we digress.
Yeah, the performance, like, I had relatively low expectations because, you know, how do you stage this without it being generic? And they have kind of found a way. Like, it's not the most unique thing ever, but it absolutely fits the song. And judging by the way the background is, I'm expecting some really clever camera cuts in the bits that we haven't seen yet. So
it's also nice to see a colour scheme that isn't pink and blue.
Preach, brother.
So, yeah, I think this will do quite well. But it's only going to qualify in like the lower parts.
Like, it's not going to be a contender for the top, but I think this and Moldova have a relationship where one has a song that would qualify with staging that underwhelms, and the other has a song that could be borderline, but the staging has elevated it. And it's weird because they're both so simple, but for Serbia it works so much better.
Yeah, it's just more well thought out. Like Moldova, they've taken away from their song, whereas Serbia have added to theirs. And again, it is what it is. I don't like this song. I never have, and I don't think I ever will.
I'm disappointed that I don't like it more, but it's still fun.
It's fine. It's probably going through.
I'd be okay with it. Now, next up in the running order, to quote Graham Norton during the recap of 2011, oh god, it's Georgia.
And that's it. Nothing else happens.
So here's the thing, though. I do feel bad for how this song has been received, because this is another one, similar to North Macedonia, where it's kind of been buried in people's opinions, and I totally get why. But the song is better than people give it credit for. It's just...
Yeah, Tourniquet himself is a good singer. The song, it doesn't make him shine the way he can.
Yeah,
if you get what I mean.
It's... I want to separate myself from the disappointment that he's usually like industrial electronica. You know, he's usually such an interesting style of music. I'm not saying that this isn't an interesting style of music, but like this is so much more commonly represented at Eurovision than his usual stuff.
Yeah.
And granted, his 2017 national final entry was a bit too far the other way, but like I don't want to mark this song down based on what could have been. I think that wouldn't be fair on me. But yeah. As a performer, he's better suited to more passionate emotions than this, because while he can do the tender emotional timbres of voice that the song requires, his face kind of can't. And like, I feel mean by saying, oh, you're in love, tell it to your face. That feels really mean and judgy on my part, so I want to stay away from thinking like that. But like, his face is just so stoic and emotionless throughout, and it looks like there's a disconnect between the singer and the song, but just listening to it, it sounds authentic, but then you see it as well and you're like, oh, maybe not. And I can see why it's going to be held back by that.
It's just so dull. At the end of the day, like, if you're not going to put any emotion into it, it's just going to fall flat. Just like any ballad.
I respect the effort, but it just doesn't come together for
I
us.
respect him, and I respect his talent, but at the end of the day, this has last place written all over it for me.
Which is a shame. You would have thought the juries would see something in it, but whatever it is,
I don't think it's going to come last with the jury.
it's just not going to save it from overall last, because I think the public won't vibe with it. If they do, so much the better. My mother loves this song and fair play to her, but I can see why people aren't so keen. Especially because it's sandwiched in between the up-tempo-ness of Serbia and Albania, which had a very Onera Move style glow-up between Festivali Këngës and Eurovision. Opinions differ on that, but...
Onera Move was terrible, but there we go.
I will fight you!
Yeah, Greek fans, come for me.
Come for him, don't come for me. I like Onera Move.
Yeah, Albania, it's fine.
Yeah, it
does the job.
It does sort of fall into the trap of Albania only ever sending this sort of female vocalist or male rock.
Yes, Albania, can we please have something different next year? Please.
But in the meantime, we know that they can make this sort of thing work. I mean, admittedly, Theotokes, I think, was a stronger song, but the live wasn't altogether there.
The staging for Theotokes was terrible.
And so I think this bridges the gap at the expense of being not as impactful a song, but still a good song. And I think that's just because Theotokes had a more relatable message, whereas this is more of a narrative kind of song. But
I do think that it's right on the border.
Yeah.
It's either going to stand out enough between all the other craziness that people will think, oh, that's quite nice, I'll vote for that, or it will just fall a little bit flat on the night, because the staging is quite empty from what we've seen.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't deserve to utterly tank in the votes.
Oh, absolutely not. If it doesn't qualify, it's going to come about 11th or 12th.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing where if Albania sent it like 5 years ago, it would like nearly qualify, and then people would be like, oh my god, what do they have to do? And if that happens this year, it wouldn't be unheard of, but I'd like to think in a post-Mal, post-Theotokes society that maybe it can sneak through, because I'd like to have it in the final, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. They've done everything they can.
Yeah. Now, one of the biggest glow-ups of the year, Portugal.
Yeah, I don't think any of us saw it coming. Like,
absolutely not.
When the song was first chosen, it's another one where some people found it boring, and I get it. But as said in the initial review, there's layers to it. You have to scratch a bit deeper, see what's going on underneath. And they've actually really more than done it justice with the staging.
Yeah, the staging here is great. Like the graphics behind him are great. The colour scheme works really well. His vocals are bang on, even in rehearsals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this has jury love written all over it for me.
And deservingly so. Like, it's gone from quietly, confidently not qualifying to, actually, this is one to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I think this is in a 2-horse race with Albania for the 10th qualification spot. Maybe putting the Czech Republic in there as well. But I do think this does stand a really good chance, when a few weeks ago I didn't even think it would come above 15th.
Yeah, like it shows just how much of an impact staging can have.
Absolutely.
Although one thing that I will say, and I've said this to people in person and they're sick of me hearing it, but I do think that in the second rehearsal clip where they show us the animated thing coming down next to the walkway, there's the silhouette of the woman that the song's about. It really does look like those awful computer generated kids animations on YouTube. You know, the ones where it's like, oh my god, Spider-Man divorced Elsa Frozen. It looks like one of those. And I know that's not the intention, but
it does look a bit strange, yeah.
All they need to do is up the frame count, maybe add a smear frame or two, just something to make it look a little bit more fluid, because otherwise it just, if nothing else, it reminds me of one of those terrible mobile adverts where it's like, oh, 1% of people can pull the right key out and save the bath.
I have no idea where you were going with that, but... And I don't think you did either.
Has anyone ever really been far even just decided to go to use Do Want Look More Like? And a partridge in a pear tree. Bulgaria.
Aren't you supposed to be good with languages?
Allegedly. Bulgaria. Sand.
Castles.
Jam.
Tarts.
Queen.
Sleigh.
Poker.
Chips.
Barbecue.
Chili.
House.
House.
Why does this turn into word association? So yeah, Bulgaria, they're being an impressive time.
Yeah.
I apparently the prop that they have on stage is sort of like a dish, which is good, because otherwise I would not envy the stage crew. Like, oh wow, you brought an industrial kilogram of sand. Thank you, SpongeBob.
No problem, Patrick.
But yeah, I'm expecting emotions. I am expecting sort of the same sort of highs as maybe Eurovision 2018 Lithuania.
Yeah.
It's going to be touching. Maybe a contender.
Could be, yeah. Like Victoria herself, great vocalist. I'm not massively keen on her style, personally. I like the song, but I do find her a bit too derivative of Billie Eilish for my taste. I'm not comparing her to Billie Eilish, I'm just saying it's that kind of...
It's from that general sort of area.
Dark style of pop.
And that's not to say that Billie Eilish invented dark pop, it's just at the moment she's the most recognisable comparison.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just that whole genre, it doesn't have to be your sort of thing, and that's entirely fair.
And she does this well. The staging's nice. Yeah, that's all really. It's gonna do quite well.
Yeah, similar to Romania with the whole sort of baggy clothes, like I'm so done with my emotional traumas, and being I want to say Victoria's about my age. Like, she's lived it, can confirm, relatable. Brain chemistry. She's put it into words. It's a song. It's a good time. How was she allowed to say Tetris? Someone had to say it.
Well, Dummy Him got away with FaceTime, so I think
still salty about that one.
I think it'd be a bit unfair for us to have a go at Bulgaria for that. So
yeah, we stand the bulge.
The bulge. Right, Finland.
Put every finger that isn't your middle finger up. You can't say that on television.
You're not the BBC. You don't own me.
Oh no, he's right. But in all seriousness, like the song, bearing in mind the song specifically calls out, put your middle fingers up, and they can't do that. They were told, you cannot do that. It's not, we can't broadcast that. So they've done everything they can to highlight the middle finger without actually breaking the rules, which, that's clever.
Kind of salty, but clever.
I do think that the staging is a little bit every rock song at Eurovision ever, but I mean, as I've said with the song before, does it need anything other than that?
Not really. Like, the camera angles are great, the vocals are great, the band give it everything. It's just a good performance.
Yeah,
and you can't deny, even if it is similar to another song, Cyprus is copying Lady Gaga, and people are raving about that. So why are people complaining about Finland?
Yeah.
So it's fine.
It conveys the right energy. It conveys the right emotions. You know, like the staging matches. You know, it doesn't matter if it's. You know, it's not derivative. It's just comparable. And I think there is a difference there that the fandom kind of need to sort of learn to identify. So I think they've translated the encore performance well enough. So I think it'll land. I think this is easily going to the final. Yeah, Finland playing to their own native strengths.
And it's nice to actually have Finland back in the final with actually a good song this time, because Monsters was not a good song.
I'm just gonna say, get you a country that can do both. And then to sort of keep the energy up. The Queen!
Your voice is horrible.
Oh, you meanie.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean, I can't stand her voice.
Again, it's understandable because it's of that sort of, you know, you don't have to like someone's voice, and that doesn't make you a horrible person. You know,
oh no, I respect her. I respect her. She's doing her thing. More power to you. I just don't like it.
Yeah. So the staging itself is, like, bearing in mind it's sort of recycled from leftovers from Still Breathing, as far as I understand it. They've actually really made it fit this song.
It's very green.
Well, why not?
Like, I didn't imagine Samantha Tina in green, but it kind of works.
Queen of the Emeralds. And one sort of interesting detail that I like from the LEDs in the background is, like, they have the crown made of hands, but in the LEDs, and that sort of spins in. Like, I like that. I like weird stuff like that. Like, Armenia 2011, they had those sort of spinning bouncy stars. I really like that, and that has nothing to do with anything. I just enjoyed it. Or the black and white muscles having a seizure from Bulgaria 2012.
Oh, God.
I like iconic LEDs, and they kind of have it here. And also the whole visor thing. They're not keeping the spray bottles, are they?
I don't know, to be quite honest. I wasn't really paying attention when I watched the rehearsal.
Understandable, but either way, Samantha Quarantina, we stand. Well, you don't, I do. No, but
I respect her. I just don't like her music.
She has the vocal capacity to deliver it live, at least, which is good because this song does require some vocals. Love them or hate them, they have to be there.
Switzerland, yes,
La Suisse, and the awkward crumping. It's not really crumping, is it?
No, it's
sort of bobbing.
It's like a bobbing hand dance move, you know?
Yeah, like, it's similar to the whole Destiny debacle of, like, if he thinks it fits, then more power to him. We just don't think it does. Like, I do like what they've put together as a staging concept here, because the giant, they're not Tetris pieces, I know, but, you know, it's a clever concept because they could have so easily just stuck him at a piano, and then people say, nah, it's too similar to arcade. Like, you know, because Duncan Lawrence invented the piano. But now I like they've gone in a different direction because it does reflect the dynamism of the song.
Yeah.
I just think that his own sort of movements could be tightened up to better reflect that. But that's just me.
Yeah, this is my personal favourite of the year.
Fair enough.
I want this to win a lot.
It won the Mega Top 39.
Yes,
so
it did.
Clearly there's a lot of love for John out there.
Yeah, and even though he's been slipping in the betting odds, I still think he could win on Saturday.
Because the truth is, this year is very wide open, so even being, like, in the top 10 of the betting odds is still massively in with a shout.
Yeah, he's still a very big contender. His vocals are amazing.
Absolutely.
Like, he nails it, even in rehearsals. Like, yeah, he could calm down the dancing a little bit. Like, John, just breathe.
Chill.
Just chill.
Take a chill pill. Call me in the morning.
Are you trying to get thirsty for John? Or?
Well, trying is a good word there. I just want to steal his goat in the divorce.
Fair enough. So you're trying to use John to get the goat?
Does that get your goat?
I honestly don't understand what goes on inside this man's head.
Honestly, neither do I.
You should see him behind the scenes.
I set a terrible example, but Switzerland doesn't, and that's what counts.
And now your personal favourite.
Alright, I'm a head out.
Okay, so we're talking about Denmark.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah, Tess does not like this song. And he refuses to say anything about this song.
Well, you know, if you can't say anything nice. But, like, look, the guys themselves, I'm sure, are very lovely. I just do not vibe with this song, and as a result, I've chosen not to watch any of the rehearsal footage of it because I know I'm not going to enjoy it, and I know it won't change my mind, so I've sort of spared myself the indemnity of Anne.
I don't mind the song, but it's not one I come back to, really. The performance is pretty much the same as the national final.
Nicest thing I could say is it's in Danish, and I am happy about. I'm legitimately happy about that, at least.
Yeah, Denmark have done better. DR effed Ben and Hanover massively,
Hugely, massively.
and listen to their song that they would have put in because it's bloody brilliant. But yeah, it's just there.
Yeah, I suppose we can't really hold that song as we can't hold this song accountable for that song not being.
Oh
there.
no, of course not. Well, no, it's not. It's not Fear and Flum's fault, but Denmark could have done so much better.
I do feel kind of bad. Like it's gonna seem like I'm not giving this song a fair shot. I gave this song a fair shot. It just never landed with me. So
I don't mind it. I'll listen to it if it's on.
and hey, if you are okay with this song, that's fine. I support your right to have an opinion on it, even if that opinion is different from mine. So I don't like it. That doesn't mean you have to not like it either. That being said, I'm out.
And he's gone again.
Okay, he wrangled me back in because the video's not technically over yet. We still have thoughts to think. Or just like last time, for better or for worse, we've picked 10 songs we want to qualify and 10 songs we think will qualify. And I mean, you've seen how those predictions have worked out so far, but hey, you know, it's still fun. So, do you want to go first?
I can go first if you want me to.
The floor is entirely yours.
So predictions first again, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 10 songs that I think will go through, and I will probably be wrong, are San Marino, Czech Republic, Greece, Austria, Iceland, Serbia, Portugal, Bulgaria, Finland, and Switzerland.
That certainly is a list.
There's a list of many listings.
Indeed it is. It's funny, I've looked at this semi-final so many times and I thought, yes, it's going to be so easy to call, and then I sit down to actually make my predictions and oh, no it isn't. Partly because the rehearsals have thrown such a spanner in the works in a good way. So, what I've landed on, and just like before, I cannot just pick a list of 10 and be content with it, so what I'm locking in for now, and I know it's going to be wrong, but San Marino, Austria, Moldova, I'm hoping that it doesn't suck on camera, Iceland, Serbia, Albania, Portugal, I think the staging will do it for them, Bulgaria, Finland, and Switzerland. There's basically just a straight run of countries there that are pretty safe. He says, completely forgetting that Latvia actually interrupts said straight run, but still, the pieces are there. So, will we be right?
Probably not.
Probably not, but, you know, we've thrown it out there. It's so hard to do in the moment. And it's not even that easy to pick our desire. Well, certainly I found it difficult to eliminate. I found it difficult to eliminate 6 songs, one of them was out on principle.
Yeah, he didn't even include Denmark on the list of countries to remove.
I mean, I wasn't gonna... They were never gonna be in my top 10.
Okay, so the countries I would like to qualify are San Marino, Estonia, Czech Republic, Greece, Austria, Iceland, Portugal, Bulgaria, Finland, and Switzerland. And I've just realised that's very similar to my prediction. I don't want people to think I sound big-headed. But yes, I want Estonia in the final over Serbia.
And even though I am a fan of Hurricane's music, I totally get where you're coming from. Respectful opinion have. As for my desired 10, San Marino, Czech Republic, Moldova, I like the song. I'm a sucker for trash. We've been new. Iceland, Serbia, Albania, Bulgaria, Finland, Latvia, and Switzerland. And I'm aware that Greece is kind of conspicuous by its absence, but like, that doesn't mean that I don't want them to do well. It just got edged out by some of the others, and like the staging might even completely change my mind. Maybe it looks good in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could be getting too far inside my own head. Whatever happens though, I mean, it's going to be another good show.
Yeah, absolutely. The first one was great, so hopefully this one will be just as good.
Yeah, another evening of snacks, fantastic music, and 10 qualifiers that may or may not disappoint.
Yep, absolutely.
We's are gonna make us some history, or maybe not.
Probably not. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah. But still.